Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Pia and this is a channel all about yarn and knitting. And if you're a returning viewer, you already know that. Thank you so much for coming back. Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. I hope you're all well and able to enjoy this special time of year. It's been a while since I last sat down to talk with you, and that actually means that even though these past couple of weeks haven't really given me much quality time with my knitting needles, I still have knitting to show. I obviously finished my Advent sweater. My Jericho's Rose, and see if I go back a little, you can enjoy all the beautiful colors on the yoke. This is the pattern that I released in late November. It is designed to be knit with 24 mini skeins, like an Advent calendar. And that is what I have done. I have used an Advent calendar from a Danish hand dyer by Kilerek. And these colors, again, if you're a returning viewer, you know that these colors is not something that you would usually see on me, but I love them. I really love the fade. I love the brightness. They're just obnoxiously bright and I love it. And I'm so happy that I decided to go with the black main color so that the body and the sleeves are black, which really allows the colors to shine. In the pattern, I also suggest that you embroider some flowers in your main color on the yoke. The first version that I knit, my flowers were big and there were a lot of them. On this one, I thought just a few tiny flowers, but yeah, I like that they're there. So this is definitely a very festive sweater to me. It's not a Christmas sweater. It doesn't have reindeer or Christmas trees or anything, but it's just, yeah, to me, this is a very, very festive sweater. And I am so happy that I just went along with all the colors instead of toning everything down. I have seen so many versions of this sweater on Instagram, and I haven't seen one that I don't love. A lot of people are using Advents, obviously. I have seen quite a few people using a fingering weight Advent, and since the pattern is written for DK weight, you'd have to hold it double. But I have seen many people instead using one strand of their fingering weight Advent and then one strand of mohair, which is just, it makes it look so luxurious, so pretty, and of course much more toned down. I even saw one who added a very, very fine thread of gold just to make it even more festive. That was amazing. I think maybe I need to make one of those. I've also seen versions with fewer than 24 colors. A lot of people knitted with just scraps and leftovers, and I saw one version made with only 8 colors here on the yoke, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So you can definitely make this sweater with scraps if you have them, or just a few single skeins in some colors that you love. I will, of course, link the pattern in my show notes below. I will link everything that I talk about, which is not a whole lot this time, but it'll be there. We do have a knit along for this sweater. It's gonna run just a few more days. on January 1st, I will draw a winner, but you still have time to participate. You just cast on and start knitting the sweater. Post a photo on Instagram with the hashtag #CherryCoastRose, and you're joining the knit along. You're eligible to win prizes at least. Maybe you won't really feel like you joined a knit along. But anyway, I also finished a couple of other things, some of which I can't show you because I knit a hat and a dickie for my husband Peter, and he's wearing them. He is camped out in the forest with our son and some friends, and I don't think I want to go there to take a photo. Of course, should have thought of taking a photo before they left, but I didn't. The hat, I just cast on however many stitches I thought was suitable, and it worked out fine. I just did some 1x1 ribbing, and yeah, it fits him nicely. The dickie, however, I did find a pattern for, a free pattern on Ravelry, and I will of course link that as well. At least then you will get some idea of what I made for him. And you know what? If he comes back before I finish editing this video, then I might just take a photo and pop it here. But I'm not sure it's gonna happen. I did finish another thing that has not been given away yet. A baby blanket. And since I couldn't find a baby who was willing to cooperate on this, I did wrap up Mickey. Mickey is, by the way, a present that I'm gonna be gifting very soon, but that's another story. The blanket is, of course, for Theo, my youngest grandson, and I made a pattern for this one, and I'll just show you. Now you've seen Mickey all nice and cozy, like a little burrito wrapped up. This is what my son always does with his baby blankets. He wraps his babies, and we talked about how nice it would be if he was able to tie it around baby. So this one is knit with, just see here, it's knit on the bias so that there are these long ends that he can use to tie around his baby. Other than that, it's just, I mean, it's a baby blanket. It has a very easy slip stitch pattern that you have seen before from my hand. I used it on a cowl, and I'm also using it in one of my whips. But it is such an easy slip stitch pattern, and it gives such a nice structure to the finished fabric. So I decided that that would be perfect for a baby blanket who should just be all snuggly and nice and easy to knit, right? It does have I-cord edges all the way around. You cast on with an I-cord and you bind off with an I-cord, and you work an I-cord along with the main body of the blanket. So there's absolutely no finishing on this blanket, which in my book is a very, very good thing. I knit this in a wonderfully soft yarn. This is baby alpaca, silk and cashmere. So it is softer than baby skin. It is really, really soft. And the alpaca fibers are not, how would you say it? They're not like sticking out. They're not coming off, because typically you will say that alpaca is not a good yarn choice for a baby. But in this yarn, the alpaca fibers are not going to be everywhere. You can see I'm handling this baby blanket, and I'm wearing black knits. It does not shed one bit, so you can easily get away with using that. This is undyed. I really, really love the natural color of the fiber. I did get it from another Danish hand dyer, a Knitter's World. So this is her fingering weight baby alpaca silk and cashmere in the undyed. And I'm loving it. And now that I've shown it, I can take some photos and then I can give it to Theodore. The pattern is in testing already, so it's gonna come out relatively soon. It's sort of a quick knit. Of course, you're working on a fine needle since it is fingering weight, but it's just so easy and so pleasing to work with. So I finished mine super fast for sure. This was for a big part of the Christmas celebrations, my going out knitting, because I could just knit away without a care in the world. So yeah, very happy to have finished this, to have shown it to you so that I can give it to Theodore. And that was it for finished objects, which is fine because I have some glorious new cast-ons. I did move all my projects, all my whips from my Christmas themed project bags into my regular project bags, which was kind of sad. I felt like I was killing Santa when I did it because it's too early. But the thing is, we are leaving Denmark, where we are currently visiting. We are leaving on December 31st to go to Texas to our family there to celebrate New Year's. So I thought I would be happy with myself for not having to look at a Christmas bag until way into January. So all my lovely old bags. So here again, this one is from Tina Mai. She uses all these old fabrics and embroidered fabrics that she finds, pillows and stuff. And she makes beautiful project bags with them. You can find her on Instagram. She is Tina Mai. I'm just gonna put that on the screen here, I think. But Instagram is where she's selling her bags. And in this bag is, of course, my Christmas Day cast on. I always have a very special cast on prepared for Christmas Day, because the way we celebrate here in Denmark is that the 24th, the evening of the 24th is the big thing. That's where the whole family gets together and celebrate throughout the day and the night. We were home at, I think, 2 in the morning. And then Christmas Day is typically spent just home alone with your immediate family, the people that you live with. And everything is very quiet and toned down, at least in our family. So usually I will get up a little before everyone else just because I'm so excited for Christmas Day. And I will go down and often sit in the middle of a leftover Christmas celebration, and I will cast on something very special that I have been preparing throughout the month. And this year I prepared some beautiful skeins of fingering weight Highland wool, something that I got from the same dyer who was behind these beautiful Advent skeins by Killarek. I had written a pattern, I had wound up the yarn, found the needles that I wanted. I had it in a Christmas bag. I would have broken my own heart if it hadn't been a Christmas bag. But then I could cast on and just sit there and enjoy the peace and the quiet. Yeah, good times, I think you can tell. So I knit a lot on my Christmas Day cast on, and I'm going to show you here. See, holding these two yoked sweaters together, it's like it's not the same person who are knitting them. This is me. This is new me. This is festive me. I love this, but this will probably not become my everyday attire anytime soon. This is me. It's undyed white background, and then a light gray called Tordensky thundercloud, and then the dark gray is actually called black. It is a shaded black. And then maybe you can also see the green one. I think it's just called number 39 or something like that. I'm gonna put it in the show notes. I really love that the green plays a little bit with the kind of graphic look on this one. One thing I am really, because this is, I mean, it's not all that special. It's a yoke sweater with some color work. But look here at the lice. Can you see that they are, they're little cables, or they're just crossed over stitches and then worked in a contrasting color. I really like how the crossing over of the stitches gives a little bit of texture to the body. And of course this needs to be blocked. Of course it does. But I think I can already see that this is gonna look absolutely beautiful. Yeah. There's nothing much to say about it. It is a very basic sweater, really. Yeah, I'm just very, very happy with how it's turning out. This pattern is ready to go out into testing next week. I do have some testers, but if you're interested, you can write me an email. My email address is in the show notes again. It will take a bit longer to get the English translation finished though, so if you want to start next week, I hope you can read Danish. Yeah, but my Christmas Day cast on, I just want to pick it up and knit right now because this is just wonderful to work on. But I do have a couple of other whips. One of them is actually also a relatively new cast on. I don't think I have shown it before. I have moved that into the project bag that I got on Etsy. And now I don't, just at the top of my head, remember the name of the maker, but I will put it in the description box below. It is some waxed fabric and just this very simple style. I love this because I can just roll it up and put it in whatever bag I am toting around. But inside it is a vest, and it is again, wow, I'm mid-row. Good job. It is again this snowflower pattern that was also on the baby blanket. Just a very, very simple slip stitch pattern. And you know what? I actually have the first sample of this vest laying right here in my suitcase next to me. So I'm just gonna grab that. Hang on a second. I just knocked over the camera in the process, but here we go again. Here is the vest that I am knitting on. It is a big, oversized, cozy vest. And yeah, as you can see, I wear it over big shirts. And then with some leggings or skinny jeans or even a little skirt if I'm feeling all fancy. But yeah, it is worked in this Snowflower slip stitch pattern. And then the button bands out here has a faux cable running up. The shoulders, I'm gonna take it off the hanger. There you go. The shoulders are worked like this with some rapid increases along the shoulder seam so that you get a two-dimensional garment, which is something that I actually kind of like. Yeah, I love my robes. They're kimono style robes, my Buddhist robes, and they're completely two-dimensional, and there is something to that. So this is worked as a two-dimensional garment with just some finishing here at the armholes, and yeah, actually again something very simple, but for me very, very versatile. So this first version was knit in some Hillesvåg tinder I had, and then I am now knitting the real sample. This was just on a whim that I cast it on and knitted. But the real sample for the pattern is going to be worked in this beautiful tweed yarn. And again, it's an undyed yarn from a hand dyer. It's not that I don't appreciate Bettina's colors. She is amazing with colors, but her bases are, they're always like special fibers, luxury fibers, and they're always gorgeous undyed. So this is a Knitter's World undyed tweed DK. Yeah, what can I say? It's tweedy, it's lovely. I really like this yarn. It's so satisfying to work with, where the tinder is, you need to want to work with it because it's a little hard on the hands. This is just so easy to knit with. It flies off the needle. I did even put this on wooden needles because I am preparing it to be my plain knitting when I'm leaving for Texas. Actually, it is on my, isn't it? Yes, it's on my new favorite needles. It's on the Chaogu bamboo needles. They're amazing. I love those. I have always been a big fan of the Chaogu needles, especially because the cables are so wonderful. The cables that I'm sure you all know, the cables for the Chaogu doesn't have any memory. So no matter what you do to them, they will always come back to just being straight. Even if you curl them up really tightly and put them in your bag, as soon as you open them, they're going to just stretch out. So there's never kinks. It's very easy, especially if you want to work like really fast. I would recommend the Chaogu for the cables. And now with the Chaogu bamboo needles, they're just amazing. I like the feeling of wood in my hands when I'm knitting. It's warmer, it's just more comfortable for the hands. But most wooden needles are a bit blunt. These are actually quite pointy. So yeah, new favorite needles on a favorite project. See, if I wasn't mid-row, I'd be able to show you, but now I've shown you on the other one. I am past the shoulder. I have knit the armhole on one of the fronts. Now I'm working on the back, and then I will go back to the other front. And then as soon as you pass the armhole, I'm going to have everything together again and just knit back and forth in this very easy and beautiful slip stitch pattern. This is perfect plain knitting. The last active whip that I have, no, that's not even true. But let's be honest, I have a multitude of whips, but some of them are active. Some of them are just taking a little holiday. But one that is definitely active is in my Mood project bag. And it is my Be Beautiful sweater. I knit this one as a summer top. It has these bees that gave name to the pattern. It has a not too deep V-neck. And then it has, the ribbing is worked with some increases and decreases to make it like a scalloped edge. The original has short sleeves. It was a summer top, and it was knit in a very, very light and drapey material. But I really wanted to get a winter version of it, so to speak, knit in a heavier yarn. This is a sport weight yarn. It's from Moondrake. I got it at the McKinney Knittery, one of my many, many visits there. But it's a sport weight superwash merino in the colorway Kelp, which could have been named Pia. I really love this color. It's everything that I like about colors, just into one colorway. This is heavier, much heavier than the original yarn, but I had no problem getting gauge, so I just knit away. And then I discovered that the original is knit with straight, rather boxy shoulders, and that did just not work in the heavier yarn. So I needed to change the shoulder construction to give it a slope here. What I chose to do at the time is something that I'm kind of regretting. I chose to put in a European shoulder where you do all the sloping on the back and then you pick up stitches and just knit straight. I would not do that if I were to knit it again. I would definitely just use some German short rows to slope the shoulders instead. That would give a much nicer result. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put in an appendix. Once I finish this, I'm going to put in an appendix to the original Be Beautiful pattern. Of course, send it out to everyone who bought the pattern, just describing how you can change the shoulder construction slightly when working in a heavier or a less drapey yarn, because obviously the fabric needs to be drapey to allow a boxy shoulder to look beautiful. But I'm not gonna put the European shoulder in that appendix. I'm actually just going to describe a set of German short rows or rabbin turns, whatever you want to do, because that's definitely what would have looked the best. So you live and you learn, right? I have been knitting on this for the longest time, but I think that now I'm done with all the gift knitting. I think this is gonna move up in my queue and get finished soonish. because I'm really looking forward to be wearing this garment. It is so soft and so nice and so lovely. Yeah, so soon to be finished. The last active whip that I have is my contemplative knitting. And it has just moved into this project bag, which is one of my favorite small project bags because I love the fabric. And then I really love Malina's bags. It is from Knitwear by Maki. You can find her on Instagram where she sells her bags. I have so many of them. And this one in particular, it's just, this is very wintry to me. But in a couple of months, I'm going to tell you, it's so spring-like. This is such a summery bag. But yeah, my contemplative knitting has been moved into this bag. And I'm not going to show that every time. It's going to be a forever knit, something that I will have on my needles for a very, very, very long time. But there is so little to it that I'm not going to show it very often. I am just using some leftover balls of drop spooner, which is 100% alpaca, in some different colors, as I said, leftover balls. And I am just knitting these squares. It's just, yeah, you cast on a few stitches, increase until, well, I do it until I'm at 70 stitches and then decrease and bind off. I'm gonna, at some point, block all these squares and crochet them together into a big cozy blanket, but that's for another day. Right now, it's my contemplative knitting. It's my having a break. Yeah, something I'm really enjoying. And because I am enjoying it so much, I also thought that it deserved some really nice knitting needles. So these are actually a Christmas present from my youngest son. These are made of bone from deer bone. I don't know, corndeer, we would say corndeer bean. But they're just, well, they're beautiful, right? They're so pretty. But also they're lovely to knit with. They're so smooth. So the stitches just flow. There's nothing for them to get caught on. And there's not like a cable where they can slide down and I have to push them up. They're always ready for me to knit the next stitch. But they're also warm to the touch. They're so pleasant to knit with. So yeah, still enjoying this so much, and it is going to be a forever knit. So I will only show it when there's something special to share with it. But yeah, my contemplative knitting. And that is it for the active whips. I did think about going through all my old project bags here leading up to the new year and like clearing the decks, so to speak. But it's not happening. Seriously, it is not happening. I have been so busy having fun. There has been no time to do that. My Christmas is so full of tradition. So the main celebration in my house or in my home starts on December 22nd, where I need to make the Christmas candy and marzipan and nougat and stuff. This is also where we wrap any last minute presents that we should have fixed long before, but there's always something left for the 22nd. We called the 22nd for little bitty Christmas Eve, because 23rd is Little Christmas Eve in Denmark. So 22nd must be little bitty Christmas Eve. We always go to my best friend Anne in the evening for some pork sandwiches and some rice porridge, and yeah, just wish each other a Merry Christmas and enjoy a quiet evening before everything happens. Because 23rd, Little Christmas Eve, that's a big thing, big to do. We always meet up with all of Peter's family. We go to visit his father's grave. We sing a couple of songs there. Then we go to his mom's house and have gløgg and æbleskiver, which are like, gløgg is like mulled wine. Æbleskiver is very close to American pancakes, only they're round and they're so delicious. In the evening, if we host Christmas, which we often do, we will take in the tree and decorate it, and then we will again have rice porridge, because we have been preparing it all day so that it's ready for the 24th, where some whipped cream is added to it, and it is then risalamande. And the 24th, yeah, we're busy on the 24th as well, because we start out the day visiting my grandparents' grave, where we meet up with my mom and her family. And then it's time to start cooking the meal. At 4, there's Disney's Christmas show, which we need to watch. And then at 6, typically all the guests will come. Well, this time we were the guests. We went to my youngest son's house and had a beautiful Christmas Eve there with the traditional meal, the dancing around the tree, singing all the Christmas songs, and then all the crazy presents being passed around. And as I said, we were home, I think, around 2 o'clock. It's a big to-do. And yeah, you've already seen what I did on Christmas Day. 26th, we have a Christmas lunch with my family. So we went to my brother's home and started eating again. Some of them went for a walk, but most of us stayed back. I wanted to knit because my Christmas cast on, and my niece is also, she's a very new knitter, but she knit a vest for her older sister for Christmas, and now she's working on a sweater for herself. So yeah, we were busy. In a few days, we're going to be flying off to Texas. So when I'm done recording here, I'm going to start packing my knitting. I'm going to bring the projects that I just shown you here. And then probably there will also be yarn waiting for me in Texas. It happens. I'm only going to be there for a couple of weeks, so I don't know that there will be time for me to get to the McKinney Knittery. I'll have to figure that out. I would really love to be able to go, maybe even meet up with some of my new Texan friends, but we shall see. I will leave you now. I will leave you to celebrate the last few magic days before New Year's. When I see you next time, it'll probably be in Texas. If everything goes according to plan, the next time I record in English will be in Texas. I really hope that you will enjoy yourself. Until then, have a beautiful couple of weeks. Enjoy all the knitting and I will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye for now.